In today's video, we're gonna take a look at Roger McQueen. Very enticing profile, 6'5" center. He was somewhat of a wild card for me this year because the progress that he has made between his 16 and his 17 years old season was pretty remarkable. So since McQueen is a late date of birthday, his 16 and his 17 years old season was his D-2 and his D-1 season. And he is a player that I have seen on a regular basis for the last 3 years already. So in 2022, 2023, I was watching his teammate Nate Danielson, and at the time, I very much doubted that McQueen would have ever become a top prospect for the NHL in the foreseeable future. The difference in his level of play the very next year had stunned me, and I was very curious to see if the upward trajectory would continue this year. And then McQueen injured his back, so he only played 17 games in the regular season and 3 in the playoffs. Given his back injury, his size, and the league that he plays in, comparison with Caden Lindstrom quickly came to fruition. Many people wonder if the risk of his selection is similar, but this answer will only be provided by the doctors that will evaluate his condition. However, I can say that the rewards is nothing like it. The two players are not in the same stratosphere of prospect as far as I'm concerned, so just take a quick look at the stats. While McQueen averaged just over a point per game at 18, Lindstrom was close to a goal per game at 17. McQueen's best attribute, in my opinion, is his puck handling. He has one of the best pairs of hands in the draft, and he isn't afraid to make bold plays, such as taking shots with his sticks between his legs. But for me, McQueen's best use of his hands is his way of dangling from the outside to the inside. Whether he's coming from the left or the right flank, he knows how to get past the defender to reach the center of the ice.
Hadlin starts the rush up the near side for McQueen. Busting up the right wall, McQueen cuts to the middle on his backhand. Now at the left circle, McQueen fires, blocked in close by Woodward.
And goes wide, picked up by the Wheat Kings Manti. Manti cross ice for Wynn. He pokes it past Okatundu, and now McQueen down the right side has a man towards the front, but he goes on the backhand instead and misses.
He also brings a good level of substance to his puck handling by the way that he brings puck to the net. He uses his hand to challenge the defender, and as soon as he has his attention and the defender tries to play the puck, he lets it slide under his stick, and then he dips his shoulder, gets under the defender, and fires a shot on goal as soon as he recovers the puck.
It's going to be a penalty to the Blades as here's McQueen up the far wing trying to turn the corner on Saunderson who prevents.
He'll find McQueen in flight. Roger McQueen accelerating ahead up the near side. Drives over the line, gets his man to bite and drives right to the cooker. Saved by Unger. Rebound, they bang away.
Stride. He's got that tall lankiness to him, but a great set of hands. And I was like you, Rob. I thought it was going to go underneath the shoulder or underneath the arm, or rather of Jackson Unger. And Unger somehow was able to seal it and keep it out.
Wheat Kings appear to have done some shifting of their lines, though the special.
McQueen is also a good straight line skater. He possesses more than decent speed for a player of his size. He has full strides and he reaches full extension in each stride.
Tried to split the defense and couldn't do so. Reich, Parr trying to take it away from McQueen, can't. McQueen ahead for Wynn. Wynn towards the Blades net and guarded by Bjarnason. That's the first great opportunity for either side. Now Hadlin
looking for a big save on Jackson Jacobson early on, keeps the game scoreless. Marcus New a pass.
However, the selling points for a possible I selection ends there for me. There has been a lot of discussion regarding McQueen's ultimate upside, and many argues that if it weren't for his long-term health issues, McQueen would have present one of the highest upside in this draft. Allow me to disagree. The question that I ask myself in his case is that if we ignore his hands and his size, where does the offensive potential comes from? Because McQueen is neither a shooter nor a natural playmaker. McQueen doesn't possess a natural talent for shooting. He doesn't possess the same traits that we find in goal scorers, so his shot is pretty decent, but there's nothing in it that sets him apart from others or elevates him to a higher level. We don't see many shots in motion, changes of angle, and I would add that his 5-on-5 shots total is very low. Though he does have a good knack for quickly elevating the puck in close quarters.
5 shorthanded goals to their credit this year. They've had 2.
Flamand low to McQueen. Bottom of the left circle, McQueen. Shoulder shot saved by Benini. Down on the far side. Away from Misselbacher. McQueen stops on a dime. Walks in and fires over the top of the cage. To Manti at the right. To McQueen at the right circle. McQueen shoots. Scores! Lightning strikes twice. It's right.
Top shelf with those delicate hands and the short side in behind Jackson Unger.
It's the kind of shot that few enough players could pull off. Not many guys are beating Jackson Unger cleanly like that. Roger McQueen is one of the few. Quinn Manti will pick.
However, my biggest issue with his shot is one of self-assessment. This is something that I place a lot of importance on prospect, so how they perceive their own level, their strength, their weaknesses, who they compare themselves to. In McQueen's case, his one-timer isn't very good, but he consistently uses it. As soon as he gets the opportunity on the power play, one-timer. I would even add that his tendency to constantly pull the trigger also hides the fact that he isn't a great playmaker either.
Buzzing on this man advantage. Manti McQueen shot off the right arm.
Gets it back to Manti. Over to McQueen for a one-timer. He didn't get much on it. It rolls to the near. Hits Manti at the top. Manti to McQueen for a one-timer. Worthington the save. It's for Elaine. Sends it down low to Peter. They'll trade spots. Peter across to McQueen for a one-timer. Blocked at the top. Manti slaps it over to McQueen for a shot. Pad save Worthington. Up for Quinn Manti. Manti off to McQueen for a one-timer. Fandon at the wall to Manti in the middle. Manti off to McQueen. He'll use the one-timer saved by Sanch. Rebounds in the power play. Peter down low to Flamand. They'll trade places. Now to Peter at the right point. Peter over to McQueen for another shot off a stick and high. And that the middle for Quinn Manti. Manti over to McQueen for a one-timer. Again wide of the Manti. Manti over to McQueen for a one-timer. Wide of the cage.
Now here's Manti. Now left side. McQueen a one-timer. Patted away.
Operated at 30%. Scored 10 times in the season series as McQueen drives it to the net and it's cleaned up.
In my viewings of McQueen, I haven't seen any plays that demonstrate a center that can skillfully set up his winger. While he can connect simple plays, the volume of passes in the offensive zone is very, very low. So I watched him either 13 or 16 games this year, I can't remember, but I'm gonna roll all of the clips of playmakings that I had on him, and you're gonna see there's not a lot there. Credits given where credit is due. This one was by far his best play of the year as far as passing skills goes.
Stick of Marcus Wynn. What a great fake by Roger McQueen. And onto the tape of Wynn. And just like that, he had a wide open net. The goaltender was fooled. And everybody, including me, fooled by...
From the left circle. Tightrope walking. He drives the middle. Throws it off to Hadlin for a shot. Benini the save. It's behind him.
Kings, Marcus Wynn, the cross ice feed. Now the trailer. McQueen once more. There's Gent for McQueen. 30 seconds to go in the power.
5 points on the season, including 30 goals. Got it into the zone. Shipley from the right point. Half wall. Jordan Gavin passes off to McQueen. Into the high slot. Ronald had
To it is Tastad. Lead pass picked off. McQueen moving in across. Wide.
McQueen's able to get it to center. And Pantelis will spot McQueen up the near side. Over the line, McQueen at the right circle. Off to Win for a shot. Snared by Son.
Funny hop off the stanchions, and the Wheat Kings dump it back in. Now sent out front. Here's a chance. Great block there. To the power play, they don't have their line set, and it's hurting them. McQueen on the right side point. Goes cross ice for Baumule.
With this observation, it's difficult to see the famous upside that so many people are talking about. If McQueen were to make unique use of his size, we could overlook some of the lack of offensive creation, but despite some pleasing aspect, his size doesn't make him an irreplaceable player. First, McQueen embraced the physical game, and for that reason, he earns points in my evaluation. I like how he hit everything that moves during the playoffs, and I really appreciate the speed with which he arrives to hit his opponents. No half measure.
Push Adland over. McCutcheon moves the puck around. Brayar under pressure, pinching down the wall is Gavin, and now McCutcheon on the near side. Logan McCutcheon up the right boards for Miguel Marcus. Brandon picking up the physicality.
slided into Red Deer territory. Luke Bluswick, the WHL's Rookie of the Week, gets
It's free to Gavin. Gavin's poke check neatly by Kachkowski. He's stapled again by McQueen and knocked down.
As he got a piece of it. Braden Smith for Regina chips it up the board. Zach Lancer inside the Regina line. Braden Smith gets checked by McQueen.
After it himself, he stood up and peels off. Martin crunched by McQueen on the near side. But
Side for Jordan Gavin. Aimed on was McCutcheon. Gavin gets
Shipley up the wing, and out with it here come the Wheat Kings. Cross ice feed and chopped in by Jordan Gavin. Just 4 penalty minutes to his credit in his career. He's almost at 200 WHL games.
Beckett Hamilton, fresh off the Red Deer bench, takes a hard hit into the boards. That's going to be a penalty to McQueen. Play continues. Peterson shot, and the rip. Line changer, a stoppage. Blueswick in his right corner. Thread line, Wheat Kings slide it into Red Deer territory. Luke Blueswick, the WHL's rookie.
Where they do tend to take a lot of penalties. They play a little bit of a rough style of play, sometimes a chippy style.
To tip it through, pinching up on him was Krall, and Krall got crunched by.
He had Gardner at his mercy. Tastad near side, James.
He can also make some good power moves near the net to give himself some good shooting opportunity. And this coupled with his good hands will ensure that he will score a certain amount of goals per year.
Across the low slot, but instead he just brings it back with his back to the net and manages to tuck it home. And very important when you get a 4-minute power play that you come out of that with at least 1 goal. So the Wheat Kings have achieved that part. Now they're going to try and look for another one.
Quinn Manti will get 1 assist. And
However, we don't see him dominating in important areas like along the boards or behind the net. And this is why comparison with Caden Lindstrom have, for me, always been nonsensical and seemed very superficial from the very get-go. McQueen also has difficulty getting out of offensive cycling to regain the center, which was one of Lindstrom's main strengths. McQueen's injury will open the door to some arguments regarding his position within the different list. For my part, this was not taken into account when it came time to rank him, so I like the combination of his size, his propensity to finish check. I also like his hands, so I think he could become a good fit, a good player for the playoffs. However, I just don't really see the top 6 upside. I don't see him as a top 6 player or as a big point producer. So this is it for Roger McQueen. I hope you enjoy. Thanks to every one of you that helps make the channels grow. And next video is going to be on Brady Martin.
Face-off won by the Wheat Kings. McQueen shoots and up top, Roger McQueen shoots, and a pad save by Ellis at the line. Holds it in with his stick. Now a shot by McQueen. Gavin for Brandon. Couldn't get a shot away. McQueen at the far boards. Into the slot. Jordan Gavin dishes it across. Bain for Brandon. Shoot, stop, rebound. Stopped again by Pine.
As Shipley was there first. Off the boards for McQueen. Makes a move. Works inside. Hadlin near right wing. Back to McQueen behind the Moose Jaw net. Trying to center. Puck comes bouncing. Shipley scores! Up ahead. McQueen wants to build some speed. Mraz kind of knocking him off stride. It was close to an offside there, wasn't it?
I thought it was.
Dug free and poked up center. That's broken up by Moose Jaw. McQueen back on the puck in the high slot. Middle of the ice. No one there. Shipley holds it in the right line. Shipley looking in tight. Save made, but on the rebound they score.
To Shipley and type of year he's having. Just threw it at the net, and I believe it was Roger McQueen who gets that goal right away as he leads the flyby.
McQueen's 9th of the season, and his
McQueen on the far side holds the zone. He'll drive the middle and shoot. Bonini, the trapper, saved. McQueen picked his pocket in turn. Gavin over the Warrior blue line for McQueen. Wide to his left. He'll drop it to Gavin on the far side. Gavin throws it back to McQueen. McQueen fires, save Bonini. On the route, Roger McQueen through center with speed. Wide to his left on Seatman. Makes a couple of nice moves and burns Seatman to the outside. McQueen to the far corner.
Picked up by the Wheat Kings. Out through the middle. Roger McQueen into the Edmonton zone. Left wing side. Bump there.
Peter over the line to his left finds Wynn. At the left circle, Wynn feeds it through to McQueen. Scores! What a passing play! And Roger McQueen.
Dominic Peter chipping it over the blue line. And then, of course, Wynn. And, of course, McQueen.
Forwards to the far corner for McQueen. On the cycle, McQueen comes up with it. Dances off the wall. McQueen to the right point for
Circle Saskatoon. So he's essentially Saskatoon. Here's McQueen working. On the left wing, here's McQueen. Ducks around a man, a shot wide of the net.
Pick it back up at the bench. Driving wide to his right. McQueen attacking ahead, gains the line himself. At the right circle, McQueen tries to dance in, finally lost it.
Boychuk almost brought that one back in. Now here comes McQueen. Roger McQueen makes a move around Pinoca, now trying to find a centering feed. It comes back to him, he scores! Roger McQueen Now up the left side for Ronald. Ronald into the middle for Roger McQueen. McQueen trying to find a lane to the net, is steered to the corner. McQueen now.
It might have caught a little bit of the glove of Hue as well, and maybe, yes, the iron too.
Lane spins it to McQueen at the left circle. McQueen a toe drag walking down the boards. He works it into position and put it just on it to claim the loose puck on the far side. Walking off the boards, McQueen dancing to the inside, shoots, and he put it wide.